You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know Miller Lite has more taste and only one more calorie than Michelob Ultra. Now, you do.
When life takes you places and you can't get to the store, shop online with Strack and Van Til to go. Our to-go service is easy to use, and it can save you time and money. Once your order is in, our own Strack and Van Til team preps your order with care. For delivery or pickup, enjoy the convenience of letting our to-go team shop for you. Enjoy your special moments. Sign up online today at shop.strackandvantil.com.
See how 8 grams of healthy protein in Land of Frost premium meat gives you energy and keeps you full. Let's get those buns toasted and bread. Cheese, 10 more. Go.
I'm getting shredded.
Make the smart choice. Land of Frost premium meat.
Back at Oil City Stadium, we're just about set for baseball. The Oilmen are on the field defensively. They're wearing their black uniforms with gold numbers on their backs. They've got the gold Oilman lettering across the front of the chest, the black cap, and the gold Oilman logo on the front of that cap. They've got the white pants for the homestanding Oilmen of Northwest Indiana. The general uniforms we'll describe for you momentarily. The first pitch from Brandon Locks comes at 7:09, and it's taken downstairs for a ball, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes on Jordan Lamcrone leading things off. The Generals wearing the green uniforms, an interesting uniform look for the visitors from Griffith. Here comes the 1-0 pitch, swing and a miss, and the count evens out at 1-1. They have the yellow general lettering across the front of the chest, yellow numbers on their backs. They have patriotic stars on the uniform sleeves and gray pants. They've got the green caps and the yellow bill to that cap. Here comes the 1-1 from Locks. This is swung on and lifted in the air to center. Right there is Amir Wright, and the left-handed center fielder will glove it in right center for the opening out of the opening inning. We are underway. The game time temperature today, by the way, is a pleasant night here in Whiting. It is 68 degrees and sunny at game time. Final piece of housekeeping to take care of is to tell you about the umpires here in just a moment. Ottobelli stands in. He swings and loops this one just out of the reach of the shortstop Comia and into center field for a base hit. It's a 1-out single for Altabelli. Umpires, it's the same duo we had last night in Hammond with the reverse assignments. Rich Smith is calling all the balls and strikes, and Ryan Verver will have the decisions on the base paths. Lineup card exchange took place a few moments ago. It was Peter Romsick delivering the lineup card, the manager of the Generals, and assistant coach Joe Maris doing the duties for Northwest Indiana. As Orzek stands in, 1 out, 1 on. Here's the pitch from Locks. It's taken for a strike, and the count is 0-1. And Cale, Locks had good success against the Generals when these teams faced off last week.
Yeah, to be blunt, Brandon, it really wasn't even close last time these two teams faced off. It was 18-0 Oilmen in that one. The game ended early, 7 innings. So the Generals looking to string some hits together. They did get the team batting average above that coveted 200 mark that they've been trying to get to the entire season. So things are looking up in Griffith.
Orzek standing in. The pitch to him is swung on and lifted foul off to the right and out of play. And the count, no balls and 2 strikes on Orzek. The Generals at 5-10 on the year. The Oilmen come into tonight with a record of 9-6. Brandon Locks now headed to Florida Southern for this next year as he's transferring from Eastern Kentucky. Here's the 2-strike pitch, swinging a tapper foul, and it remains a no ball and 2-strike count on Orzek, the DH for Griffith.
Yeah, Orzek's been one of the few consistent players that Griffith has had through the whole year. 256 average, 412 on base. Does a really good job taking his walks. 7 RBI in 12 games. One of the most trusted players on Romzik's squad.
No balls and 2 strikes on the Griffith DH. Here comes the pitch. This is swung on and lifted to left. That's going to be a base hit. Back-to-back singles here in this opening inning. Runners at first and second for Griffith. Both softly hit balls, Cale, but they put them in the right spot to turn them into base hits.
Yeah, not a lot of power on this Generals team, at least not as far as the home run. But I've talked to several players in all the post-game interviews I've done this year. They're hitting it in the right spots Like, you're just flaring it over the infield. You saw Altobelli and Orzek do that back-to-back, and we'll see if the cleanup man Winburn can get the job done here.
Yeah, that's exactly been the case in this inning, is putting it in the right spots as you talked about, as Winburn stands in against Laux as Brandon faces a early jam. First pitch here is swung on and lifted in the air. Underneath it is Amir Wright. He's battling the sun a bit. He makes the catch. His throw is a strong one-hopper into third, where Anderson's there to receive it as Altobelli holds at second. A big out for Laux, as there's now 2 down in the inning with Vorwald due next.
Yeah, and you got to give credit to Amir Wright. They're getting the ball in quickly. You saw Nick Altobelli start to run off of second there, but strong throw from Wright keeps runner at second.
2 outs and 2 on. Vorwald standing in. Here's the set from Laux. The 6'3", 180 right-hander comes set and delivers his first pitch. It's low for a ball, blocked by Scott. The count 1-0. Laux for the season, 4 games. This is his 3rd start and 5th appearance overall. His record stands at 1-0. He's logged 15 innings of shutout baseball, striking out 17 and scattering 10 walks.
Can't do much better than that, Brandon.
No. This is fouled at the plate in the count 1-1. He has really been tremendous this summer for the Oilmen.
Yeah, and his brother's got some pretty good numbers too, yeah?
Yeah, no doubt they've been a 1-2 punch for this Oilman pitching staff. Brandon with the upper hand right now in the statistical categories, but Tyler's stuff has been tremendous as well. Here comes the 1-1. This is low and outside for a ball. Snap throw from Scott to first, a close play, and diving back in head first safely is Orzek on the back pick from the catcher Scott.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the same thing on the Generals side with Kyler Lapp coming up in the bottom of the first. He's really aggressive with those pickoff throws to first, just as Scott was there.
2 balls and a strike on Vorwald. Here comes the pitch on the way. It's taken low and outside for a ball, and the count is 3-1.
One thing that the Generals have done fairly well all year is take their walks. When they don't have quick counts, hitting it in play, first or second pitch, they typically draw out an at-bat. Seeing it here.
Here's the 3-1. This is high for ball 4, so 2 soft singles and a walk in this inning. And now Laux faces a big-time jam. There are 2 down in the inning, but the bases are full of Generals.
Yeah, and this really isn't a guy that you want to see Nick Fies. He has a big bat. He's not afraid to put a big swing in the ball. Had a home run opening day for the Generals, so this could be dangerous here, Brandon.
We've reached a big moment in the game right off the bat with the bases full and 2 down. First pitch is taken for a strike in the count 0-1. And there were really no such jams when Laux pitched against these Generals last week. 6 shutout innings of 1-hit ball. He did walk 3 and struck out 7 in the 18-0 win over the Gens that needed only 7 innings to be completed. The 0-1 swing and a miss. And it's no balls and 2 strikes. Fies hitting 143. Laux trying to retire the side and keep his glittering earned run average of 0 intact. 0-2. Here's the 2-strike pitch. It's taken outside for a ball. It's 1-2.
And I'm curious to see here, Brandon, if this inning does continue. Kyler Lapp is on deck. He's the Generals' 3rd-string catcher, but in limited opportunities, he's driven in runs. We'll see if that pays dividends here in the first.
1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Here's the 1-2. This is taken high for a ball. It's 2-2. Ahead 0-2 is Laux, but now the count's creeping slowly back in to even at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Deuce is wild here in the opening inning. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Laux strikes out Fies. And a big out to retire the side in the first. No runs, 2 hits, and 3 left after a half. It's Griffith nothing, and the Oilmen coming to bat on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
First time in 30 years, Coors Light has an ad in the big game.
Actually, this is a Miller Lite commercial.
Mountain Cold Refreshment. It's Miller time. Great taste. Less filling. Cold as the Rockies.
Coors commercial. Miller commercial.
Actually, it's a Blue Moon commercial.
I am a success.
I am the future.
I am.
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 I am Ivy Tech Community College.
Are you?
Wait! Let me help! Land of Frost! Premium meat! Delicious! And no byproducts!
Toss it in.
Et moi?
Okay.
Make the smart choice. Land of Frost Premium Meat.
It's common for back patients to have a lot of questions, but at Midwest Orthopedic Specialty Hospital, we ask a lot of questions too. We want to know about their jobs, their hobbies, their lifestyle. Because spinal conditions are oftentimes complex and multifaceted, the best solutions take into account work and lifestyle. The spine is at the basis of everything that we do and who we are. For us, surgery is not the first priority. Finding the least invasive option to give you your life back is.
Centier Bank proudly supports the Northwest Indiana Oilmen this season. Since 1895, Centier has remained deeply rooted in Northwest Indiana and promises to remain not for sale for generations to come. Go to Centier.com for more information. Member FDIC, it's Centier Bank, a proud partner of the Northwest Indiana Oilmen. It'll be Chris Baker to lead things off for those Oilmen here in this last of the first inning. The Generals threatening against Laux in that opening frame, Kale, but eventually Laux gets out of it with a big strikeout of Nick Fies.
Yeah, it was a really good job by Laux there, but that's a really good thing to see from the Generals. They really got shut down the last time that they were here in Whiting. Already have the same amount of hits in one inning as they did in 7 in that last one, Brandon.
Yeah, so a more favorable start for a team that's been playing better of late, and the left-handed hitting Baker stands in. Hitting 226, still reaching base at a good clip, but let's see if we can get, from an Oilman standpoint, the Oilman hoping to see Baker get rolling with a few more base knocks here, as he's one of the leaders of the team, a post-college player, a longtime Oilman. The 1-0 to him is swung on and lifted foul over into the bullpen down the left field line, and the count 1-1.
Yeah, Daimling, don't let that ERA fool you. He's at an 8.53 through 6 1/3, but the Generals have 35 errors in 15 games. A lot of those have come with Daimling on the mound.
The 1-1 high and in for a ball, 2 balls and a strike. 3 walks, 1 strikeout in those innings. Here's the set and the 2-1 pitch. It's taken inside for a ball to count 3-1. The small sample size so far, so it's hard to really overly evaluate him based on that 8.53 ERA. 3 games all out of the bullpen. This is his first start of the season. He most recently pitched at Southland. Here comes the pitch taken high and outside for ball 4. And Baker works the leadoff walk. Something Baker is so talented at doing is making opposing pitchers work and finding ways to work walks.
Yeah, and I believe that's the Baker's dozen on the season there, Brandon. That's his 13th walk. Leads the Oilmen.
How fitting, too. Well done, as Komiya stands in next. Chris inches out to that lead at first. He's being held by 5, swing and a miss, and the count is no balls and a strike on Jaden Komiya, who was the hero the last time the Oilmen were in this ballpark, hitting the walk-off home run to win Saturday night's game against the Southland Vikings in the bottom of the 10th. The 0-1 is in tight for a ball. The count 1 ball and 1 strike. David Daimling, right-hander, Concordia, Chicago, stands at 5'11", a native of Bloomingdale, Illinois. 1-1 on Komiya. Here's the 1-1 pitch. This is swung on and smashed foul, and it one-hops and maybe hit somebody over in that bullpen down the left field line. And the count 1-2.
Yeah, that's the hardest contact we've seen tonight here, Brandon. Good job by Komiya to really square that one up just a little bit ahead of that one. Got to sit back on this next one.
Crushed that walk-off home run on Saturday. He was actually celebrating between first and second, thinking it was a walk-off hit. The 1-2 low and in for a ball. Stolen base here for Baker. He was in motion with that pitch and swiped second uncontested. The count levels out at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now a base hit could drive in the game's first run with Baker in scoring position. But Komiya did not realize the ball had left the yard until his teammates told him, hey, you better run the rest of the way around the bases. That was a home run. 2-2. Baker at second. Here's the 2-2 pitch. This is swung on and lined to left, and a bad read on it for the left fielder, Winburn. This is going to be a base hit up against the wall. Round third, Baker. He's going to try to score. Here comes the throw to second. There's a play at second, and out at second base is Comia. Baker comes in and scores. It's an RBI single for Comia, and he's cut down at second, 7-4, I believe, for the first out of the inning, and give Comia his 10th RBI of the year, but he tried to stretch it into a two-base hit, and able to gun it in was Winburn from left.
Yeah, and you got to give Winburn credit there. This is his first start, I believe, this season in left field. Plays all around the field. Didn't read that ball very well off the bat, but a really strong throw into Contreras at second got the out.
Here's the first pitch to right. It's a strike, and the count 0-1. Amir was featured in the Post-Tribune newspaper today if you want to pick up your copy around Northwest Indiana. No balls and a strike. The count on the Griffith grad, and he swings and lifts this one in the air to right center. Pretty well hit. This is back toward the fence. It's going to be off the wall. Extra bases for Wright. He's pulling up his second with a two-base hit. Boy, this could have been another run for the Oilmen if it weren't for the out on the bases a moment ago. But Northwest Indiana will take it as Wright one-hops the fence in right center, and the Oilmen have a one-out double.
Yeah, that was a perfect gapper. Right center field, one-hop the wall. Really can't do much better than that, but that strong throw by Winburn gunning down that run earlier, that looms very large.
Now it's Logan Anderson standing in next. 1-0 in favor of the Oilmen as Baker scored on the single by Comia a moment ago. The Oilmen do have one out, but Daimling has not yet to truly retire a man as the only out came on the bases after a base hit. Here's a breaking ball strike and the count 0-1 on Anderson. Amir Wright featured in the Post-Trib with our old friend Dave Melton, who's been writing stories on Oilman baseball since the inaugural season of 2012. Good to see him out at Dowling Park yesterday. Here's a swing and a miss. There's a nice story. I mentioned how Wright was dealing with a strained hamstring. He thought about hanging it up entirely after he was with the Evansville Otters of the Frontier League and didn't quite make the cut. Was released by the Otters. And this Oilman team in the Northern League gave him an opportunity to continue his baseball career, and he's working to get back to that professional level. This is swung on and lifted in the air to center. Going back on it is Altobelli. He has a beat on it. He gloves it. Wright's going to tag and try to get to third. Here comes the throw toward third. Wright slides in safely at third base. He advances 90 feet on the tag up, but Anderson is the second out of the inning.
Yeah, and that's really good speed there. Good reaction time by Amir Wright. Left right when the ball went into the glove of Altobelli in center, and that pays off for the Oilmen.
It's a little bit of a risk because it's one where as Stressler stands in, and now just speaking of the fact that Wright had been battling a little bit of a hamstring issue that was part of why he was released from the Evansville Otters, and now he's appears to be shaken up here as he's walking around near third base, and he's going to be okay to stay in the game here, but he's in a little bit of pain after sliding into third. We'll be set to resume action here as Stressler stands in with a man at third and two down. This is taken outside for a ball. That's one where you have to know you're going to get there because it's nice to be at third. Maybe you can score on a wild pitch, but with two outs in the inning, it's not a huge difference from being at second base. And you do risk getting thrown out when you try to advance. The 1-0 is high for a ball, 2-0. So if you know you can make it, great. But if you get thrown out in that spot, you're going to have an unhappy Adam Enright.
Yeah, and that's why I give Amir Garrett the nod there, or Amir Wright the nod there, thinking the Cubs-Reds rivalry there. But good stealing by Wright there.
2-0 is swung on and fouled back to the screen. The count is 2 balls and a strike. Oilman already had one out on the bases in the inning, but they were able to avoid it there as he tagged and went to third. Here's the 2-1. This is taken low and inside for a ball, and the count 3 balls and a strike on Stressler. Daimling has yielded 1 run in the inning, but he's trying to keep the crooked number off the board. General right-hander comes set, and here's the 3-1. This is low for ball 4, working a walk is Stressler, and now the inning continues for Graham Mastros.
And that's really good discipline by Stressler there. Daimling didn't miss that last fastball by much, went just low, but a good job by Stressler to hold off. Runners on the corners.
Coaches on the bases, Adam Enright, the manager of the Oilmen, in the third base coaching box, and Joe Maris, the assistant coach, is in the box at first. Mastro stands in with runners at first and third. It's Stressler taking the lead off first, and Wright doing the same at third base. Here's a strike called, according to Rich Smith, and the count no balls and 1 strike on Mastros. Nice night at Oil City, a little warmer than some of the recent games. Here's the 0-1, swinging a high chop left side, and this is going to be fair. A base hit down the third base line. The third baseman Landcrone didn't see it, and it turns into a base knock as Mastros grounds one along third, and he has himself an RBI single. Wright comes in and scores. Stressler goes first to third on the play. It's the third Oilman hit of the inning, and a ball that Landcrone maybe could have fielded, but it's almost like he did not see the ball at all. He was not in front of it, and the ball just bounced down that left field line for a base hit.
Yeah, Landcrone had a really rough game out there at third base last time the Generals were here. 4 errors of the 6 that the Generals committed that night, so not his favorite place to play, I'm sure.
Here's a pickoff throw to first, not in time. Yeah, that was shaky to say the least. This one, it goes as a hit. Obviously, a play should have made, but it seemed to be lost in the sun. You can see he's really shading his eyes from the sun. This is swung on and lifted in the air to deep right center. Underneath it, and able to make the catch as Vorwald, and the inning ends, but not before damage done. As the Oilmen score twice, they do it on 3 hits and leave 2 after 1. It's the Oilmen 2 and Griffith nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
When life takes you places and you can't get to the store, shop online with Strack and Van Til to go. Our to-go service is easy to use, and it can save you time and money. Once your order is in, our own Strack and Van Til team preps your order with care. For delivery or pickup, enjoy the convenience of letting our to-go team shop for you. Enjoy your special moments. Sign up online today at shop.strackandvantil.com.
That beach is just too hot. I mean, God, look at it. It's making the sand burn, the mouth dry, the skin cry. I mean, everything's just... Oh, there's Coors Light. Well, mouth desert, meet ice cold beer. Mountain cold refreshment. That's chill.
BP's natural gas teams use Smart App technology to share data from any well instantly, so they can analyze trends and stop potential problems in their tracks. Because safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Have a student headed to college this fall? If so, you probably have questions, and the best place to find answers is Ivy Tech Community College. Ivy Tech is in your community and offers hundreds of options. Best of all, our tuition is a fraction of the cost of other colleges. Complete a free application to
Ivy Tech, our programs are designed to lead you toward a great career. That's 92 alumni would choose Ivy Tech again. Find the program meant for advancing you toward your career quickly and affordably. It's Ivy Tech, a proud partner of the Northwest Indiana Oilmen. Tyler Lapp leads off the second inning for Griffith. Here's the first pitch to him. This is swung on and lifted in the air to right. Right there to make the catch is Doherty in right field. 1 pitch, 1 away in this second inning, and Contreras will bat next.
And this will be interesting to see how Alex Contreras responds here. This is his first game since June 3rd. He's got his own job out there, so he's had some work conflicts, and with the arrival of Ronnie Nowak and Max Waskovich after the first few games, he really hasn't gotten any opportunities.
Here's the pitch that bounces in there and is outside as well. And the count 1 ball and no strikes on Contreras. 2-0 in favor of the Oilmen as we play inning number 2. 1 ball and no strikes on Contreras. Here's the wind in the fire from Locks. It's outside for a ball, 2-0. Brandon Locks, again, pitched well against these Generals a week ago. 2 balls and no strikes the count. 2-0. Here comes the pitch on the way. This is swung on and lifted foul off to the right, not a play, and the count 2-1.
one thing that Contreras does have going for him in only 3 games played, he's walked 4 times in 3 games. He was really one of the only base runners of the Generals had consistently in those first 3.
2-1 swing and a miss. Count 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-0 in favor of the Oilmen. They scored twice in the opening inning. This is swung on and lifted foul off to the right and out of play, and it remains 2-2. Nothing Oilmen inning number 2. 1 out, a quick out with Lapp on the first pitch, and it's been a battle with Contreras. Here comes the pitch on the way. This is taken inside for a ball, and the count goes full at 3-2 on Contreras.
And there you go again with Contreras working a lot of deep counts. That's why he's drawn his walks, sees a lot of pitches, has a good eye.
Here's the payoff pitch, swinging a bouncing ball toward third, and the ball was called foul by the home plate umpire, Rich Smith. Fielding it just after it had crossed the base foul was Anderson. And we'll do it again. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Contreras.
And I saw Anderson kind of go, dang it, with that nod. He had that throw perfect from foul territory in third. I'm sure he wanted that on the stat sheet.
Yeah, it was a nice play, too. He was able to navigate a tricky bounce that just was foul. Here's the payoff pitch. This is taken for strike 3 called. Caught looking as Contreras for the second out of the inning. And 2 up, 2 down to begin the second as Laux wins an extended battle with Contreras.
Yeah, that was a really good payoff pitch there from Laux, right at the knees. That's really not one that Contreras swings at all that much, but it's a really good job by one of the better arms we've seen in the Northern League this year.
Waskovich standing in with 2 outs and the bases clear. First pitch to him is looked at for a strike, and the count 0-1. 2 up, 2 down to get things going here. Laux comes back, and the 0-1 swinging a bouncing ball toward short. This is fielded by Comia. His toss across the diamond is in time, and it's a 1-2-3 second inning for Brandon Laux. After an inning and a half, it remains Oilmen 2 and Griffith nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Hold up, now do what you do, get loud, go ahead, get loose, get down to business, tell everyone, nothing's off limits, you can have anything you want.
The JED TV Sports Network is now the exclusive home to 8 schools. Subscribe today for a full year of sports coverage by using code JEDTV50 at checkout. Visit JEDTV.com for more information.
Don't let pain knock you out of the ring. Our hand, wrist, and elbow experts are pioneers worldwide. You need us in your corner. Midwest Orthopedics at Rush. Make an appointment today. After our minimally invasive spine surgery, 80% of golfers maintained or improved their handicap. Be treated by the pros to play more like a pro. Midwest Orthopedics at Rush. Make an appointment today.
Officially, it's a fridge full of beer. Unofficially, it's free AC. Coors Light, the official beer of everything.
Oilmen Baseball tonight is brought to you by our friends at Hard Rock Casino, Northern Indiana. Discover your rhythm at Hard Rock Casino, Northern Indiana, just off exit 6, I-8094. It's Hard Rock Casino, a proud partner of the Northwest Indiana Oilmen. As we rock on to the bottom of inning number 2, 2-0 in favor of the Oilmen as Daimling is back out there for his next inning of work. First pitch swing, ground ball to third, and Landcrone's throw to first is in time. 5-3 the putout goes for the first out of the second inning, and that'll bring up Scott next.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of that tonight, Brandon. First pitch swinging. Doherty hits that one in play. Good job by Landcrone to recompose himself after that misplay last inning. Just set his feet and complete the throw to first to Fives.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit after the last game between these two teams. This Oilman team is simply too good of an offensive club to give extra outs. Here's a strike called on Scott. I think the Generals gave too many extra outs to the Oilmen, and that's going to put your pitching staff in too tough of a spot, and you're eventually going to run out of pitching because you give up free outs, then it's extra pitches. Here's the 0-1. This is swung on and lifted in the air, shallow right center. A diving attempt and incredible effort by the right fielder, Vorwald. He makes the catch as he is able to hang on and take a base hit away from Emmanuel Scott. And so that's the opposite of what we're talking about. That's turning what should be a hit into an out.
Yeah, and that's Bryce Vorwald's defense on display for you. It's going to be really important having him be on the money defensively, with Billy Jones having a dislocated hand after he hurt it last night. Great catch there by Vorwald.
Yeah, and Baker goes the other way and lifts this one to left. It's a base hit for Baker down the line. He's around first. He's headed for second. They're going to test the arm of Winburn again. The throw to second is cut off. Winburn had already thrown out one Oilman trying to stretch it earlier, but Baker this time has a standing double with 2 outs here in the second.
And that improves the good day for Baker. Walked and stole a base his first time around and just laced that into left. Another pounce on a first pitch, Brandon.
Now it'll be Jaden Comia, who had a run-scoring single his first time, standing in next. But we're talking about how this Oilman team, if you give them 5 outs in an inning, I mean, it could be a really long inning. So that's one thing that I think the Generals want to make sure they shore up from the last time these squads faced off, the 18-0 rout. Comia standing in. Swung on and lifted in the air in foul territory. Daimling raced all the way off the mound and into foul ground himself, and a young fan is able to secure it and give it to a younger fan. So
that's why you bring your glove to the ballpark.
Yeah.
Great catch out there.
No balls and 1 strike. The count on Comia. A big round of applause from all the fans after that ball reached the seats a moment ago, and now the pitcher Daimling steps off as he looks the runner Baker back to second base. We're in the second inning at the OC. The Oilmen scoring twice in the first. Good to have you along on the Oilmen Broadcasting Network. No balls and a strike here on Comia. Here's the 0-1 swing and a miss, and Daimling ahead 0-2.
That's one of the best pitches we've seen from Daimling all night. Good breaker from him. If that's on, he's really hard to get a hold of.
2 outs and 2 strikes now. Let's see if Comia can come up with a 2-out hit to drive in Baker. The Oilmen had a couple clutch 2-out hits yesterday against the Vikings. Here's a 2-strike pitch. It's a ground ball up the middle, able to snatch it as Daimling. He runs halfway to first, underhand flip to Fies, and that's the inning. Play goes 1-3, no runs, 1 hit, 1 left for the Oilmen in the second. After 2, it's Northwest Indiana 2 and Griffith nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Football legend Tom Flores, a.k.a. the Iceman, a.k.a. the first Latino quarterback and head coach ever, a.k.a. why isn't he in the hall yet? Well, Coors Light is going to do something about it.
I'll drink to that.
You guys are crushing it. See how 8 grams of healthy protein in Land of Frost premium meat gives you energy and keeps you full. Let's get those buns toasted and bread. Cheese, 10 more. Go.
I'm getting shredded.
Make the smart choice. Land of Frost Premium Meat.
When life keeps you busy and you can't get to the store, shop online with Strachan Van Til To Go. Our to-go service is easy to use. Register using your rewards account information, fill your virtual cart, and choose delivery or pickup. Once your order is in, our own Strachan Van Til team preps your order with care. With our to-go service, you can earn reward points and save time and money with our online coupons and weekly ad prices. Life made simple, shopping made easy. For more information or to sign up, visit shop.strachanvantil.com.
Safety doesn't come in a box. It's not a banner that goes on a wall. It's not something you do now and then, or when it's convenient. It's using state-of-the-art simulators to better prepare for any situation. It's giving offshore teams onshore support, and it's empowering anyone to stop a job if something doesn't seem right. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
2 innings in the books, 2-0 in favor of the Oilmen, as the top of the Griffith order will be up in this third against Brandon Locks, Landcrone, Altabelli, and Orzek, due for the visitors from Griffith here tonight. As Locks gets set to deliver the first pitch to Landcrone, it's taken for a strike. Oilmen coming off an 11-7 loss to Southland yesterday. The Oilmen not playing great baseball right now. In fact, they have lost 3 of their last 4 games, and the only win during that stretch could have gone either way. The extra inning game against Southland on Saturday night. This is low for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike on Landcrone. The Oilmen, I think a big key has been, can the pitching hold the opponents to 5 runs or fewer? 1 ball and 1 strike on Landcrone. Here's a strike, and it's 1-2. When Oilman pitching does that, they are an undefeated 9-0 if they hold the opponents to 5 runs or fewer in the game. But when more than 5 runs are scored by the Oilman opponent, the Oilmen are 0-6. Here's the 1-2 low for a ball. They count 2 balls and 2 strikes. So the key's been on the pitching staff. If they can keep it to a reasonable amount of 5 runs or fewer, the offense is going to do enough to make sure you win those games. But when the other team has a big offensive explosion, it's going to be tough. The 2-2 is tapped foul, and it remains 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I think a big reason with that 5 number, Brandon, I just did some quick math on my phone here. The Oilmen have scored 127 runs in 15 games. That's about 8.46 runs a game, so that is greater than 5.
2-2 the count here on Landcrone. It's interesting. Here's the 2-2 pitch. It's way high for a ball. They haven't won a single low-scoring, like 2-1 type game, and they haven't lost a single game where it's. Oh wait, let me try that again. It's the other way around. They haven't. They're 9-0 in games that they allow 5 runs or fewer. So they've won all of those low-scoring games. Here's the payoff pitch. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Out on strikes is Landcrone. And I think part of the cause here is that when it's gotten bad, it's gotten real bad. So it's like when you're out of pitching, then it's, no matter how many runs you score, you're going to lose that game if you allow more than 5, because they found a way to allow more than the opposition. So they haven't been able to outslug anyone and win a game like 13-11, but they have been able to win the low-scoring ones. Here's the pitch on the way to Altabelli. It's taken high for a ball.
And the Generals have a little bit of that, too. One reason that they won that 17-10 game against the Vikings last week was because they had solid pitching. It wasn't great, but it was solid. Got outs.
Here's a crack into center. That's a base hit, a 1-out single for Altabelli. It's his 2nd hit of the game. He's 2 for 2 against Brandon Locks. He has 2 of the team's 3 hits, and there's 1 on with 1 away for Aaron Orzak.
Yeah, and I talked to Nick Altabelli after a crazy ending to the Sunday game against the Panthers. The Generals were down. They were down big going into the 9th, and Altabelli actually had to pitch at the end of the 8th. He didn't allow a run in that full inning. Then he came in to hit in the DH spot, I believe. Some fans in the park thought he hit a grand slam. It was a ground rule double that bounced over the wall, but Altabelli's really turning it on here in mid-June.
Here's the first pitch to Orzak, a check swing, and no swing apparently. The count is 1-0. Now an appeal, and nope, says Ryan Verver. 1 ball and no strikes on Orzak. Yeah, it was 9-4 in the 9th in that game, I understand, and the Generals ended up coming back to make it a game as they got within 9-7. And one of those crazy Generals-Panthers games.
Every single one of those has had a crazy 9th inning. I believe the scores have been 9-5, 11-10. I think there was a 5-3 in there, and then the recent 9-7. All of those games had the Generals making it interesting in the 9th, but just haven't been able to push across that tying and winning run against the Panthers. They're in Griffith 3 more times this weekend.
Here's the 1-0 high for a ball. Locke's keeping a close eye on Altabelli as he had uncorked 2 pickoff throws before delivering that one upstairs. And the count 2 balls and no strikes on Orzak. 2-0 in favor of the Oilmen as we play inning number 3 at Oil City. 2 balls, no strikes, 2-0 Oilmen. Here's the set and the 2-0. This is taken high for a ball, and now it's 3-0 on Orzak.
And Orzak has that really good 412 on base coming into today. It's going to be a little bit higher with that single that he had earlier, but as I mentioned, there are some Generals on this team that are very disciplined. Orzak winning Conference Freshman of the Year at St. Xavier University.
3-0 upstairs for ball 4. Orzak works the walk. It's the second walk issued by Locks, and now 2 on with 1 away for Lucas Winburn.
And that's really good in this Generals lineup. If you're Peter Romzik, you've got your 2 and 3 hitter reaching base all 4 times. The first 2 times they've seen Locks, a really solid pitcher, still looking to give up that first run. We'll see if Lucas Winburn takes some big swings here. That wouldn't surprise me, Brandon.
It seems like this general team may be rejuvenated a little bit. You had mentioned, and Peter Romsek had mentioned, 13 days in a row was kind of taking their toll, and it was getting a little sloppy by the end of Sunday's game, and now a day off yesterday.
Yeah, it wasn't a true 13 in a row. There were some rainouts in there, but everybody was in that mentality like, hey, we got to play 2 straight weeks of baseball. There's some guys banged up. The Generals did lose Jackson McFarland on an injury, and who knows how long Billy Jones is going to be out. There's still no official word on him. But it was a tough stretch for the Generals, but they finished it out really strong, won 3 of 4 on the homestand, and they're in a much more reasonable spot than they were a week ago.
No balls and a strike after Winburn fouled one away. 2 on, 1 away. Here's the 0-1 pitch. It's taken for a strike, and it's 0-2. Locks worked in and out of trouble in the first inning as Griffith loaded the bases against him. Now he faces a first and second scenario, but Winburn is facing a no ball and 2 strike count. Locks the look at second. Now his delivery to home plate is swung on and fouled. Back to the screen. We'll do it again, 0-2.
That was a really good job by Winburn there. He really loaded on that back leg, really looked to send that deep, but tough pitch there from Locks. Does a good job to just spoil it, stay alive.
No balls and 2 strikes on Winburn. And here's a pickoff throw to second. It's not in time. Diving back to the base safely is Altabelli. Two strikes, 2-0 Oilmen as we play inning number 3. Here comes the 2-strike pitch. This is swung on and lifted in the air, foul off to the right and out of play, and it remains 0-2.
And the Generals have done a much better job with runners in scoring position. Earlier in the season, Coach Romsek mentioned this. The Generals were watching too many good pitches go by. They weren't being aggressive enough, and you're seeing Winburn being really aggressive, but also doing a good job of fouling off some tough pitches.
Here's the set and the 0-2 pitch. Runner goes from second. Swing and a miss. Throw to third is going to be not in time. A stolen base. It was almost a strike him out, throw him out double play. A bang-bang play at third. Altabelli steals third. Winburn is out on strikes for the second out of the inning, and Orzek holding it first on the play.
I'm surprised that Orzek is still there at first. He's a really good base runner. He's not the fastest guy, but he has really good instincts on the bases. So we'll see if that makes a difference here. Runners on the corners with 2 away.
Now it'll be Vorwald stepping up to the plate next. With, again, 2 down in the inning after the strikeout a moment ago. Here's the pitch, swinging a line drive to second. There to snatch it as Mastros in the inning ends. No runs, 1 hit, and 2 left for Griffith in that inning as they strand 2 more. They've stranded 5 over the first 3 frames. After 2.5, it remains Oilmen 2 and Griffith nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
This place teaches you to be genuine, to be the same person today as you were yesterday. People from Indiana, they're pretty comfortable with who they are. And you know, I think that puts the people around them at ease to be comfortable with who they are.
The values that built Indiana are here in Strachan Van Til. We're Indiana's grocery store, and we're proud to be Indiana made.
We don't go to the office, we build it. This is a truism with Ironworkers Local 395 and the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association. Our goal is to exceed our customers' expectations. We provide a skilled, OSHA-trained, drug-free workforce, as well as many other certifications from our 4-year training program. Every time you hire an iron worker from Local 395, you should feel confident that you are receiving highly trained, highly skilled, and drug-free journeymen and apprentices who take their job and your project seriously. For more information, contact us at 219-763-7900 or ironworkers395.com.
Don't let pain knock you out of the ring. Our hand, wrist, and elbow experts are pioneers worldwide. You need us in your corner. Midwest Orthopedics at Rush. Make an appointment today.
Amir Wright will lead things off here in inning number 3. The bottom half, he doubled and scored his first time, which came in the opening inning. 2-0 in favor of the Oilmen. First pitch is a strike, painting the outer portion from the righty Daimling, and the count no balls and 1 strike. 2-0 Oilmen, last of inning number 3. Here's the 0-1. This is outside for a ball, and the count is 1 ball and 1 strike.
And you really got to like, if you're Coach Romzik for the Generals, you like being within striking distance of these Oilmen, despite a really rough outing here last time. It's a really good jump out of an off day for the Generals.
The 1-1 is taken for ball 2, 2 balls and a strike. Meanwhile, again, the Oilmen trying to turn things around. They have lost 3 of 4. It's, though, good to be home for them because they've especially struggled away from the OC. The 2-1 is high for a ball, 3 balls and 1 strike. On the season, the Oilmen 7-1 at home, and yet just 2-5 when they are on the road. 3 balls and a strike on right. Here comes the set from Daimling and the 3-1. This is outside ball 4. Right works the leadoff walk to begin this third.
Yeah, and that's going to be Daimling's 3rd walk. His control has been okay, but not great, but really not a great job finding the zone to start this 3rd inning.
Now it is Anderson with a runner on first and nobody out here in this 3rd. 2-0 in favor of the Oilmen as we play the bottom of inning number 3. Daimling comes set, and his first pitch is taken low for a ball, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. Oilmen out hitting the Generals 4-3 here in the early going, but it's a 2-0 ball game in the run column in favor of the Oilmen. Here's a pickoff throw to first. It's not in time.
I find your tidbit on the home road splits for the Oilmen very interesting, Brandon, because where the Generals sit, it's almost the opposite. Before their homestand this weekend, they were 0-6. They're now 3-8 at home. They're an even 2-2 on the road coming into this one.
1-0 is a strike. The Oilmen have always played well here at Oil City Stadium. It's always been a tough place for an opponent to come in and play. And oftentimes the Oilmen have used their last at-bats. They had 6 walk-off wins a year ago and 2 already this season. And over the last this season and last year, here's the 1-1. This is low for a ball, and advancing to second base on a wild pitch is going to be right as the count goes to 2-1. But the Oilmen have often won close games here. They've come from behind late. They've fed off energy late in games in the bottom of the 9th, and they've found ways to win games here at Oil City. Again, 7-1 at home on the year, but just 2-5 when they travel. Here's the pitch to Anderson. This is low for a ball, and the count is 3 balls and 1 strike. 2-0 Oilmen behind a 2-run first. A leadoff walk and a wild pitch that allowed Wright to scoot to second here in this 3rd. The Generals have threatened twice, but they failed to score in both instances. The 3-1 is a ground ball through the center of the diamond, base hit for Anderson, right around 3rd. He's going to try to score. Here comes Altobelli's throw toward the plate. It's cut off, and no relay throw will be made. RBI single, Logan Anderson. It's his 9th RBI of the year. Wright comes in and scores and extends the lead. It's 3-0 in favor of the Oilmen.
And that was a really good swing that time by Anderson. Just shot it straight up the middle on a 3-1. Daimling had to throw a strike to stay in the at-bat, and a good job just squaring that one up. 3-0 Oilmen.
Now Stressler with runner on first and 1 run in the bank. No outs here in this 3rd. Here's the pitch to Stressler. It's high and outside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. See if the Oilmen can eventually find a way to win some of those road games. They lost at Elkhart County on Sunday and at Southland yesterday. 1 ball and no strikes on Stressler. It's a strike call. They checked his swing and looked at strike 1. The count evens at a ball and a strike. Yesterday it looked like they were in good position to beat the Vikings on the road, but then a disaster inning, Cale, for the Oilmen as Southland scored 9 times in the 6th inning. Here's the 1-1. This is low for a ball, 2-1.
Yeah, 9 times, one of the better quotes from the famous movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off. We've seen a lot of big crooked innings. Last time these two teams faced off, it was 10 innings in the 6th, I believe, by the Oilmen that really drove home that run rule.
2-1 on Stressler is taken high for a ball. It's 3 balls and 1 strike. Overall in the game, the Oilmen pitching staff did not throw enough strikes. They walked 11 and hit 3, and in particular struggled in that 6th inning. Sapkowiak came in and got two quick outs, but then kind of struggled to throw strikes. The 3-1 is high ball 4. Speaking of not throwing strikes, 2 walks in this inning. And now the Oilmen have runners at first and second. Already a run in the bank and still nobody out here in the third.
Yeah, that's Stressler's second walk. It's the 4th one overall by Daimling. I'm surprised that we're not seeing pitching coach Ryan Jamar coming out here for the Generals and calming Daimling down, because this is kind of a bullpen day for the Generals, Brandon. We'll see how much longer Daimling stays in this game.
Mastros will stand in with runners at first and second and nobody out. It seems like, here's the first pitch, taken for a strike. It seems like every team in the league is having their depth tested a little more. Early in the season, it's always kind of a lighter schedule with more days off over the first couple weeks. Now you start to ramp it up where you're playing almost every day, and the depth of that pitching staff really gets tested, and that's been a huge factor for the Oilmen. Here comes the 0-1. It's taken low and breaking ball to count 1 ball and 1 strike. Oilmen aren't going to lose too many games when their top 4 pitchers in the rotation start, but now that you're playing 7 games in a week and you're having 3 games where someone else is towing the rubber, and also your bullpen spread out now because some of the guys that were relievers are now starters. Here comes the 1-1. This is swung on and smashed to left, a line drive that's going to one-hop the fence in left. Extra bases for Mastros. Here comes Anderson to the plate. He will score. Holding at third, Stressler. RBI double for Graham Mastros off the wall and left, and it's 4-0 in favor of the Oilmen.
Yeah, and that was a really good swing that time by Mastros. You got to give credit to Lucas Winburn out there as well. He barehanded that off the wall and got it in pretty quickly, but good Oilman base running makes it 4-0.
Runners at second and third for the Oilmen, but the Generals as well, it sounds like a lot of games lately, and the depth of that pitching staff is starting to really be tested.
Yeah, and that's one reason why it's been a really good thing for Lucas Winburn and Dylan Mayer to come in. As I mentioned earlier, both two-way players. They've both really made an impact on both sides of the ball. It's been a much-needed boost for the Generals.
Here's a wild pitch charging toward the plate. Stressler, he will score as the throw is just tardy as he sprints across the dish. It's a wild pitch. Both runners move up 90 feet, with Mastros also taking third. The Oilmen have now scored 3 times in this inning, and they lead the ball game by a score of 5-0. Here comes a general mound visit.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be Ryan Jamar coming out there just trying to calm Daimling down, but the damage has already been done in this inning. 3 home here in the bottom of the third, and the Generals will just have to try and play damage control before they can even get back on the offensive side.
And what better time while Ryan Jamar is out there to order some groceries. And ordering groceries has never been easier. New online shopping at Strachan Van Til saves you time and money. In-store sale prices, pickup or delivery, online coupons, rewards points, and more. Sign up at shop.strachanvantil.com today. It's Strachan Van Til, a proud partner of the Northwest Indiana Oilmen. As Phillips stands in and Mastros stands at third. Here comes the set from Daimling in his 1-0 pitch, swing and a miss, and the count 1-1.
Yeah, that was a really aggressive swing there, and I think that Phillips is trying to make up for what he was robbed last time by Bryce Vorwald out in right field, made a diving play to take a hit away from Phillips.
Here's the 1-1. This is outside for a ball, 2-1. Yeah, Phillips hitting 179, and boy, when you're trying to get going and you have something that should be a hit and then a defensive player makes an outstanding play, it's like, boy, nothing's going right. Nothing's going right. 2 balls and a strike on Phillips. Here's the 2-1. Swinging a foul out of play right side, 2-2.
And that kind of reminds me of a quote that Kyler Lapp gave me when he started breaking out this season. It was a game against the Miracle in Elkhart, and he hit a really hard one, I think, a liner to center field that was caught, but he hit a ground ball that went through the left side of the infield in just the right spot, and he said, that's the thing with baseball. You can hit a line drive to center, but like if you hit it in the right spot, like not all that hard, that's baseball. Go figure.
Phillips lifts one foul off to the right out of play, and it remains 2 balls and 2 strikes on Brennan. Nobody out in the inning. Let's see if he can drive in Mastros. The infield's back. Here's a swing and a little nubber toward third. Lancrone fields it. His throw goes to first. It's in time as a run scores. Give Phillips an RBI, his 5th of the year. Play goes 5-3 for the first out of the inning. Mastros scores the 4th Oilman run of the inning. The Oilmen lead by half a dozen here in the third.
Yeah, and that's a good job by Phillips putting a really tough one in play. A little bit of a gyro ball. We see a lot of those in Griffith with that strange grass, but it's now 6-0 Oilmen after getting that in play.
4 in the inning for NWI. Nick Doherty stands in. Here's a bouncing ball, left side, base hit, left field, out of the reach of Landcrone. The moving left, and Oscar right. Doherty. Trio of hits along with 2 walks.
To for Dimeling could get, or he's through starting to struggle.
Here's a bouncing ball toward third. Landcrone fields it. The throw to second is in time. There's the force on the 5-4. Now the top of the order, Cale and Chris Baker.
Yeah, I want to go back to that play. Contreras out. Third. He had a play at first, but he just hesitated a little bit there. It'll
2 outs and the runner safe. To center, getting underneath it is Altabelli. He's there, he gloves it, and the inning ends. Baker retired, but the Oilmen do damage in the third. They score 4 times. They do it on 3 hits and leave 1. After 3, Oilmen 6, and Griffith nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
It's hard to keep small. Light beer. We've always recommended that. It's Miller time.
BP's natural gas teams use Smart App technology to share data from any well instantly. Because safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Hello, Hoosier fans. Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat Radio, the only show that covers the Hoosiers, the Big Ten, the Colts, the Pacers, and more. And now you can catch us each Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 on WJOB, the voice of the region. Daily guests like Don Fisher, Mike Dorsey, Bob Crabbe, and Rick Bozen. The coaches, the players, and playmakers. With Jim Coyle, Monday through Friday, 11 to 1 on 12:30 a.m. and 104.7 FM.
Who is the IBEW? The people keep speeding along. We build things like schools and hospitals. We bring the biggest shows and sporting events to the world, keep America's railroads on the right track, help cities, states, and the federal government work for you. And we proudly build products made in the USA. The International Brotherhood of Electricians.
Good to have you along on the Oilmen Broadcasting Network. Tonight we're booming throughout the region on the region AM 1230 JOB. We're available across the World Wide Web on JED TV, on Region Sports, and of course, as always, on the Oilmen Facebook page. Brandon Vickery and Cale Sleezer as we take it to inning number 4. Nick Baez will lead things off for Griffith against Brandon Locks, who has worked into trouble on a couple of occasions, but both times he's been able to work out of it in 2 of these first 3 innings. He's flirted with some trouble. Here's the first pitch, low for a ball, but the General's not able to fully capitalize on those opportunities.
The thing that I was just about to say here, Brandon, yes, the Generals have had trouble scoring in the earlier third of games, but it's this 4, 5, 6. I'll even throw the 7th inning in there too. The Generals have put together a lot of rallies in that span of the ball game over the last week. So even getting 1 or 2 back here would be big in the grand scheme of things.
I've been saying for a long time that I think in the middle part of the game you often see those big innings. Here comes the 2-0. This is swung on and lifted foul out of play. Just because early in the game the starter is usually rolling, and then kind of in the middle you get to the point where either A, the starter is still in there but is starting to tire, or B, you get into the bullpen and you potentially have more vulnerable arms in the bullpen compared to in the starting rotation. 2 balls and a strike. Here comes the 2-1. This is taken for ball 3, 3-1.
And I think that happened in the Oilmen game last night against the Vikings. The Vikings starter, was it 140 pitches that he threw that night, Brandon?
Indeed it was. And so the Vikings just kept rolling with him. Here's the 3-1. This is taken for a strike. Count goes full at 3-2. Shoveling the bat aside, but he's going to need it, was Fies, and he'll get that bat back and stand up there and wait the payoff pitch. But on the other side of that, you had the Oilmen who had to go to the pen once the starter Buckholz started to tire. Here's the payoff pitch upcoming, and it's taken for ball 4. Able to glove it was Scott, but Fies is aboard, and Lapp will stand in next. But you had the Oilmen go to the bullpen, and then the first reliever in that came in kind of mid-inning struggled. And when you are playing every day over the course of the week, as the Oilmen are right now, you don't have a lot of room for deviation from the plan. You're expecting a certain guy to go an inning or two, and you need him to go that inning or two, and that's where a game can get away from you. If he's struggling to get through that without allowing a lot of runs, then you're going to have to count on your offense to make up for it if that indeed is the case. That
was the case with the Generals back on Sunday. Nick Altobelli coming in after Dylan Mayer had trouble getting out.
But right there is Doherty, and the right fielder makes the catch for the first out of the inning. Pretty good ride off the bat of Lapp, but it's the first out of the 4th, and now Contreras comes up next.
Yeah, that's the second time that
You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know Miller Lite has more taste and only one more calorie than Michelob Ultra. Now, you do.
When life takes you places and you can't get to the store, shop online with Strack and Van Til to go. Our to-go service is easy to use, and it can save you time and money. Once your order is in, our own Strack and Van Til team preps your order with care. For delivery or pickup, enjoy the convenience of letting our to-go team shop for you. Enjoy your special moments. Sign up online today at shop.strackandvantil.com.
Crushing it. See how 8 grams of healthy protein in Land of Frost premium meat gives you energy and keeps you full. Let's get those buns toasted and bread. Cheese, 10 more. Go.
I'm getting shredded.
Make the smart choice. Land of Frost Premium Meat.
Welcome back to West Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network. I'm Kale Sleazer, joined by Zach Carr here for an inning. Brandon's going to take his usual 5th inning break. It's a 7-1 ball game in favor of the hometown Oilmen, and it's going to be 3-4-5 for the Generals. Aaron Orzek, Lucas Winburn, and Bryce Vorwald coming up against Brandon Locks, who's going to start his 5th inning of work. In case any of you folks at home missed it, Locks finally gave up his first run of the year in the 4th inning, as Orzek is going to take up high for a ball.
Yeah, the Generals have given Locks some problems today. A lot of base runners, and we kind of saw it coming today. The Generals have put a little pressure on him.
That one's going to fall in there for a strike, 1-1. Orzek on the day, not too bad. Single and a walk. Looking to get something started here for the Generals. Cut into that lead a little bit in the 4th, but gave the run right back, as that one is going to sail past Scott back there for ball 2.
And the Oilmen have looked good offensively. They've been patient as well in the box. Now, as well, defensively, no errors on the scoreboard, unlike Generals with 3 and 2 last inning.
That one's going to be fouled out of play, a bit close to the press box. The count is 2-2. On deck is Lucas Winburn. He's 0 for 2 on the day, struck out his last appearance. Here's the 2-2 from Locks, and that is in the dirt. That gets through Scott's legs a bit, but composes himself. It's 3-2.
That's an aggressive 2-2 pitch curveball in the dirt. But we've seen Locks the last couple innings has been really using that curveball, has been confusing a lot of the Generals.
Payoff pitch to Orzek, and that's going to be high for ball 4. So Orzek reaches for the 3rd time today, 2nd via the free pass, and the leadoff man is on for the man in the cleanup spot, Lucas Winburn.
It's always nice to get the leadoff man on in every inning, giving your offense a little bit of a chance and high probability, and hopefully just moving them around. 6-run game, anything can happen in the Northern League.
That is the 5th walk issued by Locks as he misses high and tight to Winburn, 1-0. Average lead at first by Orzek. He's being held on out there by Brennan Phillips. As that one's going to miss 2-0.
Yeah, Locks has lost a little bit of control over the last couple innings, but it might be a time for the Oilmen to start warming someone up.
And a good frame back there by Emmanuel Scott to clip the lower edge on that fastball, 2-1. Emmanuel Scott has done a really good job back there for the Oilmen. Here's the 2-1 now. That's popped up. That's going to get foul out of play. That evens up the count at 2 apiece. What's your strike 3 pitch here, Zach?
I go back to the curveball. Locks has looked really good. And as well as in the dirt, don't give him anything to hit and to have some momentum for the Generals.
Aaron Orzek is on first. Bryce Vorwald on deck. He has a walk today. And a swing and a miss. Good job by Locks to paint the outer edge there for a swing and miss, strike 3, 1 away.
Hey, went the complete opposite, just gassed him up, and actually great call. I mean, if I was a hitter for the Generals, I'd still think curveball, 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 because he's been going at that pitch just so often the last 2 innings.
The double play ball is in order for the Oilmen, as that one is going to miss down low. It'll squirt in front of Scott, but he stays within the area of the ball. It's 1-0. We'll get you Bryce Vorwald's numbers on the year here. Coming into today, he's batting an even 200, 293 on base, 4 RBI. As that is on the ground to shortstop, cleanly gloved. Only play is at first, and beating it out is Vorwald. That's going to be an infield single, and we've seen that on a few occasions from all of the Generals, and Bryce Vorwald especially. He shows hustle on every single play, and it pays off there. First and second, 1 out for Nick Fies.
Yeah, he got out of the box in a hurry, and that looked like it could have potentially been a double play. Ended up being no outs for the Oilmen, and the inning continues.
It helps if you got 2 of your really good hustle guys, good base runners in Orzek and Vorwald. As that one is going to be hit into left field for a base hit. That's going to fall for Fies, and holding up the stop sign at third is Peter Romzik. Generals will play station to station, but that makes things interesting here in the top of the 5th. And that's going to bring up Kyler Lapp, who's been really good with runners in scoring position so far this year.
And the Generals have been in this position before in this game, and Locks has been able to get out of majority of it, only allowing 1 run so far. But with 1 out, let's see if the Generals can continue to go station to station, or maybe even get a extra base hit and drive in 2 or possibly 3.
That is the 6th hit on the day for the Generals. That already triples their output from the last time these two teams faced off here in Oil City. As that one's going to be foul off to the right side, and going over and making the catch at first base is going to be Brennan Phillips. It just stayed in the yard, but that's a big out number 2 there, Zach.
That's a huge out, especially in foul territory. Oilman just played at Dowling Park, and it is a huge foul, a lot of foul ground to work with, and at the Oil City Stadium it's a little less, but knew exactly where he was, knew where the tarp was, but plenty of room to make the play.
Here comes Alex Contreras now. He takes up high for a ball. This could be a defining at-bat in the big picture for the Generals. Ronnie Nowak, as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, he is on vacation right now for the Generals. This is the first game Contreras has played since June 3rd. Looking to get some more at-bats as he fouls that one off to the right side. It's now 1-1. Only 1 hit on the year coming into today for Contreras. He has made his living drawing walks, and even a walk here could get him his first RBI on the year. Really big spot for the Generals. Here's the 1-1. That's fouled back to the screen. Count 1-2.
Yeah, a little tardy on the last 2 pitches. Let's see if Locks goes back to the fastball or possibly the curveball, which he's felt really comfortable with.
Aaron Orzek on third, Bryce Vorwald on second, Nick Fies on first, Alex Contreras trying to make something happen and put the Generals within striking distance in a 7-1 ball game. The 1-2, that is in the dirt. Really good pick there by Scott to keep everyone where they are. It's 2-2.
Yeah, Scott's looked really good beyond the plate once again, and he's done this a lot. Keep every single ball right in front of him, and it doesn't have any funky hops. It lands straight at his feet.
Here's the 2-2. That's up high, 3-2, and Contreras doing what he does best, working long at bats. And this could be a very big pitch here in the grand scheme of this ball game. Max Waskovich on deck should the inning continue. Payoff pitch, runners go. That is on the ground to shortstop, cleanly gloved. The throw to first is true, and the Generals strand the bases loaded. And we will go to the bottom of the 5th, 7-1, Oilmen over the Generals on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Hold up, now do what you do. Get loud, go ahead, get loose. Get down to business, tell everyone nothing's off limits. You can have anything.
The Jed TV Sports Network is now the exclusive home to 8 schools. Subscribe today for a full year of sports coverage by using code JEDTV50 at checkout. Visit JEDTV.com for more information.
Don't let pain knock you out of the ring. Our hand, wrist, and elbow experts are pioneers worldwide. You need us in your corner. Midwest Orthopedics at Rush. Make an appointment today. After our minimally invasive spine surgery, 80% of golfers maintained or improved their handicap. Be treated by the pros to play more like a pro. Midwest Orthopedics at Rush. Make an appointment today.
Officially, it's a fridge full of beer. Unofficially, it's free AC. Coors Light, the official beer of everything.
Welcome back to Northern League Baseball. Still 7-1 in favor of the Oilmen. David Deimling is still out there for the Generals here in this fifth. The conversation I had with Peter Romzik in the dugout before the game, he indicated that he'd be happy if Deimling went 4, and starting off the fifth rough here as he plunks Nick Doherty on the first pitch.
Yeah, right on the elbow as well, and that's why nowadays a lot of hitters use elbow guards and usually hear a little clank and not all bone.
So that's going to bring up Emmanuel Scott, who's 0 for 2. Did reach on a fielder's choice his last time. Oilmen have scored in every inning except the second. 2 in the first, 3 in the fourth, or 4 in the third, I should say, and 1 in the fourth, as that one is going to miss for ball 1. Here's the 1-0 from Deimling. That is going to be hit into left field for a base hit. Good job with a quick bat rotation there by Scott, and it's back to the top of the order, and Chris Baker, who has walked and doubled today.
Yeah, really turned on that. Got it between the gap of the shortstop and the third baseman. Really quick, 2 men on for the Oilmen. Let's see if they will be able to take advantage of this with the leadoff hitter and top of the order coming up.
Chris Baker, the DH, steps in. And that one is inside and low. Good job by Kyler Lapp back there to corral that pitch. Lapp is the third string catcher for these Generals, but he has made his opportunities count, has played good defense, has a really good arm back there, and offensively he has hit really well with runners in scoring position. Here's the 1-0, and that's in there for a strike, 1-1.
Yeah, both catchers have looked great today. All you need to do is be a brick wall and steal a couple strikes here and there.
That'll definitely get you a nod from the skipper if you were able to do those two things. Good pitch from Deimling, swing and miss, strike 2. What's your put away pitch here, Zach?
My put away pitch against Baker, he's not going to chase many, so I would go with a fastball, maybe outside, try to roll a double play here.
Runners on first and second, nobody out, bottom of the fifth. Bit of a cooler night in Whiting, Indiana. The 1-2 just up high, 2-2. Jaden Comia on deck has an RBI single and a hit by pitch on the day. Deimling sets the 2-2, looks back to second, winds and fires. And that is on the ground, right back to Deimling. Throw to second is going to be sailed into center field. That's going to be another E1 on Deimling, and that's going to turn a potential double play into another run for the Oilmen. It's now 8-1.
Yeah, that's one of the toughest plays in baseball. Getting a comebacker right away and setting your feet and throwing to second. You always see communication between pitchers and the middle infield to show who are you throwing to, but that one just got away from him and sailed it.
So the Oilmen now with 3 innings in a row where they've scored and potential for more. And downstairs for ball 1 is that pitch to Comia.
It's important not to have this inning blow up because, you know, crooked numbers, in one singular inning is usually where a win for a team is huge, and you see that in the Northern League a lot.
That last pitch misses low and outside. It's 2-0. It doesn't appear that there is any action in the Generals bullpen. It looks like Dimeling will have to ride this out as that's foul back to the screen, 2-1.
Yeah, it might be tough to get someone warming up when there's a little bit of a pipe burst in the bullpen.
We haven't mentioned that yet. There is some plumbing trouble, for lack of a better term, out there in that Generals bullpen tonight. That one's going to miss high, and stealing first without a throw, or stealing from first to second, is Chris Baker. 2 runners in scoring position. 3-1 count.
Yeah, Baker got a really good jump there. Wasn't even going towards home yet, and was basically at second. That's why there was no throw.
And that's going to load the bases after a 5-pitch walk to Comia. And I think we're going to have a pinch hitter here. Help me out with this one, Zach. You're a bit more familiar with this Oilmen lineup than I am. I'm